creating a game can be a lot of work. There's a lot of things involved with that, like art and asset creation, programming, learning how to make new features you've never come across before, and then math equations? Yeah, really. And now, I may have never been the coolest kid in math class, but it's not every day that you have to play around with vectors, and even worse, sometimes you have to do the math in order to calculate how to add or subtract these vectors. So well, I didn't do any of that either. So basically, here's the bit. I'm creating a game jam this weekend, and whatever state it is on Sunday night is the state it's being left in, period. That's it. No more working on the game, no more tweak this, tweak that. That's it. That's the end. Well, why am I doing this? I want to prove to myself that I can make a game in a weekend given a strict and very tight deadline. Because I considered doing a game jam, and I wasn't quite sure that I'd be able to complete it. So we're going to work on this. All right, it's Saturday. I'm waking up, I'm rolling out of bed. I'm like, okay, so it hits. I'm going to work through this, and I'm going to work out the idea. Do I make a 3D game? Nah, that's a lot of work. Even if it's all the boxes and it's not even appealing. That's when I come across this popular asset pack that I'm sure there's 50,000 games using. It's called the Kenny Asset Pack. Well, why would I use a pack like that? Surely I'm original enough not to put together something myself, right? Maybe a few sprites and a sprite, right? Maybe my finger slipped. Totally original assets I'm using right here, and it's time to make a game. And so we start out with the sounds. So I get open FL Studio, I recorded some sounds. Next, I'm worried about getting a character with some form of animation, and oh my gosh, he's a booger. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he's cute. And once my character's put together, I ended up just designing the first level. Most of this was done off camera, so I don't have any of the recordings because it didn't hit me that OBS wasn't even turned on in the first place. And so I start the day early, and by the time I'm already hitting the end of level 1 before I know it. I'm feeling pretty good. As the afternoon comes by, I'm tweaking and removing bugs, and this is what the game actually looks like. Wow. So I wired up a few doors, activated a few buttons, more coding here, there, and boom, feels like a game, finally. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be, right? Totally. And then it's really coming along in a short amount of time, and in the next few hours I'm working on level 2, but at this point I'm starting to get tired because it's starting to get late in the afternoon, and you know, I work better with my beauty sleep. So I turn in for the night with level 2 halfway done, and before you know it, it's Sunday. So today is the big day, and whatever the game is like at the end of the night, I have to leave it like that. It's the rule of the jam, that's it, period. And it's also a good time to mention again, this is a self-game jam, okay? It's not even a real game jam, just a proof game jam. So yeah, the submission would just be making something like this video, for example. And well, here's the other disappointing fact, you know, I finished level 2 off camera. What? I mean, I brought a laptop with me, I had things going on, leave me alone. But basically, I just added more obstacles, things to make you frustrated, things to jump over, and some fast-moving pesty flies. Darn those pesty flies. I had a lot of stuff going on this weekend, and I have work the next day, so I can't stay up all night coding again. And, well, I just decided to start working level 3, and I'm in a rush to finish at this point, because I wanted to do 3 levels in this game, and whether if that meant that level 1 and 2 had to suffer, I was going to make sure I had a 3rd level. And so I'm flying through development, and I just decided to put spikes. I didn't really put flies, and I just didn't have it. For some reason, I decided, hey, I have time to make a boss snowman. And well, of course, you know, some people would beg me to put a big nose, since, you know, the game's name is Booger, the game, but I thought that would be too silly. It's just a game concept, right? I wrote a couple fire snowball functions here. Nothing really happens when he does them, it just prints this console log. Very pretty. And so, instead, I just trap your booger in a room for like 40 seconds. I mean, it's the perfect, I don't know, like after 15 espressos and who knows how many hours into this. I mean, we're coming up on like hour 10. I made this game in like 10 hours. In the end, the game turned out pretty okay. And level 3 was a bit rushed, but other than that, I feel like I accomplished quite a bit for the time that I had put into this game, and a lot of stuff was happening, so it's a pretty good ending to me. So here's what the final game looks like, and I'm just gonna kind of wrap up as I show you this game here. I learned a lot from this game jam. Learning how to save user data and iterating quickly. I have a couple other games I've made in the engine, so this isn't my first one for sure. However, I began learning Godot about 3 weeks ago, and this is what I'm able to come up with so far, but I'm getting better with the engine. And I don't want to make any huge games quite yet, and I don't have anything ready to sell on Steam, but eventually we'll reach that point where I'll have enough projects that we'll begin working on a larger game that eventually will be sold on Steam. And if you want to, hang out, I do have a Discord that I'll link below, but I would love to talk about your game ideas as well. Like, we're all fellow gamers here and tech enthusiasts. You might know me a lot more for my Linux stuff, and who knows, maybe we'll make like a cool hacking game that's pretty accurate based upon what we all know about the Linux command line. That might be an interesting idea. You never know. But if you want me to make some tutorials in the future, maybe on the Godot game engine that I'm using here, be sure to leave a comment with "Teach me Senpai" so that I know you made it to the end, and I will consider teaching you the great ways of the new master. It's been a lot of fun to work on this game, and I hope to have a lot more fun experience working on games with you guys as well. And I don't think I'll end up polishing this game. It's a really rough concept that would need definitely a lot of love. There's a lot of enemies that definitely need added, and well, our booger snowman boss would need fixed. And I'll also give a link on the Discord for those guys if you want to, download and play the game. So these are my high scores for the coins right now, but if you manage to beat me at my own game, then, well, I guess leave a comment and let me know. And until next time, make sure you join the Discord, it's linked, and let's get some coffee.